What's up, YouTube? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck. This is Extreme Gains. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope if you're enjoying an evening with your loved one, you enjoy yourselves. Today is, and thank you for stopping by for the video as well. Today is Monday, February 14th, 2022. And this is the AMC Algo Exposed daily update and preparation video. I'm also going to include SPY at the end of this as well, so stick around for that as well. With that said, let's dig in. Okay, so we have another new snake, potentially. I looked at it here today after I got back here from my doctor's appointment, and I showed you all earlier in the day what I was looking at. I kind of went on the hunt again. It seems what's happening is what I thought potentially, that this last time zone was going to be split into multiple small time zones. That's a good thing, I think. That indicates to me that things are tapering to an end, and it seems to me, that things are, that each one of these snakes and time zones in which they cover are getting shorter. If you remember 2 snakes ago, or let's go 3 snakes ago, we had 2.5 months, and then that tapered down to 3 weeks. We went from 3 weeks to last week's. It gave us 1 week, and now it's gone, and we diverted from that. And aren't you glad that I brought up last night the indication of the diversion to the downside last night in the video, right? We were not going to the moon today, according to that indication, and that's why I presented it, as well as I had it on the screen today during the live stream all day. So I'm glad it did. I'm glad that I brought that up. It definitely had my mind at ease today, looking for that potentially happening. That's exactly what we got today. AMC finished the day down 5.64%, $17.75. I showed in the video last night the move Friday to the downside did divert from that last snake that was indicating a flat-like movement up here around in and out of the $20 resistance area level that I talked about as well. And then a move right down into the 1850 roughly before it made its move back up to the upside. That is not the case in this current scenario that we're in after the 5.5%, more than 5.5% downside today. We are up 0.28% in after hours. We're trading at $17.80. So with that said, here is the current potential, the potential snake. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to look at tomorrow. Last week showed the indicator on Monday and showed the snake on Tuesday. Today we got the snake. I think we got the indicator Friday, potentially the snake today. Why do I think that? Right here you go. This is today's 5-minute movement, a portion of it to current time where we're trading right now, played over today, Friday, Thursday, and if you use the rest of it, it does bring you to Wednesday. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday overlay, which would indicate, or overlap, which would indicate to me that we're going to potentially get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at a minimum from this, if we continue to follow this. If it goes in sequence like it has been going, whatever it seems to overlap is what it seems to give in projection. I'm learning this as I go as well, because things are changing on the fly right now, and I'm trying to stay just a half a step in front of it. I'm hoping to continue to do that. If it gets out in front of me, I'll let you all know. If I lose the ability to see it or understand what's going on, you all will be the first to know, so I can get you all looking with me the best that I can. I did explain the inward and outward facing indicators within the chart today. I'm actually excited to see some of y'all that I explained that to, if you actually dive into that and do some DD into that and what your results are when you come out of that DD. I know what mine were, so I'm excited to see what y'all come up with. But anyways, here it is. This is what potentially is the new snake for the time being until I see something otherwise. Obviously, it's showing more downside back down to the 1666 area with some consolidation. Ironically, if you look at this from a box top, I did talk about the box tops real quick before I show you this one. In last night's video, I talked about the basically the macro box top that we're in, that we touched on Thursday, and that this could potentially fulfill out to the right. We could get this move back up. We had diverted on Friday afternoon, and if we did get a move back up, we did have another micro box top waiting for this to fulfill, and it was a direct hit. As a matter of fact, right there's my line. There was a direct hit on it again today, and you saw that in real time today in the live stream. As soon as it hit, downside, fulfilled the micro, which then fulfilled here. It's starting to fulfill this macro one as well. So that's exactly what I was looking at last night in that video, and I hope I articulated that well enough, where the micro was the last piece of this macro box top that needed fulfilled, and then they would align themselves together, meaning that last micro box top had to form from the compressed W that it had. It shot up this morning after it fulfilled the W, and we got the touch and the direct hit on the box top, and then it came back down, and then that's where we had both the macro downside breakdown from the box top and the micro breakdown from the box top all at the same time, right? Which is what my indication was, that this would potentially fulfill this and move to the downside. With that said, ironically, this current potential snake overlay on top of here, if we were to look at this box top setup for our lines, we would have R1, which is our pennant line, R2, where we're at now. Look at this. Whether it's the one that's up tight here, I think it'll be. There's R3. And it literally lines itself up with the overlay in this position to be relevant in this case. Not only that, you've seen this before, specifically Oxygen. Look at the Oxygen chart that I've brought up, especially in Discord, right, where it's running the opposite direction, but you see the spacing between these when they stagger them like this. It's how they typically do this in an uptrend or a downtrend. So this isn't necessarily a bad thing if it were to be like this. It does appear that in this snake, if this were the one, that it's going to have its W move here. I don't know what's next. Tomorrow would dictate, the rest of this evening, tomorrow morning's movements would dictate whether this would be a dissolve and continued downside, which would then fulfill the macro double-double that I was talking about, or if it were to follow this snake, give us this compressed W here, if it would make a move back to the upside, therefore indicating what this evenly spaced staggers would be. And that's basically just an uptrend, right? Because we can come back here and we can put in an ascending level of support that this might follow. If it were to fill this, get a bounce here and move to the upside. So today, the rest of this evening, tomorrow morning, those movements are going to be relevant to the end of this snake overlay and to what potentially those movements are going to look like on the macro out here. So that is the current potential snake that I have. Obviously, you can see here, it's pretty spot on, just like the rest of them have been. The indication of movement from this, again, looking at the 1 hour chart, it's indicating macro, generalized perspective of the macro movement to the downside, right? Like I said, down to the 1665, 16 area. On the 5 minute, see its relevance, movements, right? And we saw it today in real time. So that's what I'm looking at for potentially this snake. See if that takes over. Again, I'll be watching very intently for tomorrow as well. See if it is something that can be overlapped as well, because last week showed us Tuesday, and it only let us till Friday. So we'll see. I'm going to keep looking. But for right now, this one here looks to be matching up well. Keep an eye on that. If we do divert from this, head up, back up, and divert from what this is indicating, that's where I'm going to be looking into tomorrow's micro movement, trying to find what it is that could potentially be the news. Okay? All right, that's the snake. Here is the macro to macro comparative that we've looked at for quite some time from the 7-year macro descending wedge prior to the January 2021 run-up. I wanted to show you on the daily. Talked about this over and over again. I'm not going to dig back into it about the validation and or invalidation of this and when that would take place. I want to show you on the daily. Showed you when you have the 4-hour and the 1 hour, it does make it out here a little further, right? But if you look at the daily here, right? If within the next, say, 2 days, 3 days, I mean, we could really go exaggerated right here. From the daily perspective, this thing would still be valid at that, right? So we have all of these micro, mid movements that happen intraday, intra-week. Then we get these daily candles, right? So take a look at that. Kind of absorb what it is that I'm trying to convey here, right? If we get consolidated movement within this area, right, we could still be out here before this drop would take place, and it would still validate this macro fractal if that were to happen like that. Nonetheless, looking at it again from the daily, see where we're at within that and what it's indicating moving forward. Go down to the 1 hour so I can show you that. Right. Here's our box top from over here. Waiting to pull the third out when we get our third, same as we are that I showed you here. It is starting to curl over this. See if we get continuation to downside or not, or if we get a compressed W here and a continuation to the upside. That's what we're looking for. In either scenario, obviously that doesn't change, but this as well is indicating heavy downside in the near future. So eyes open, be aware of that as well. A little bit different, right? Formatting as far as the length, the distance in which these may take themselves in the bearish scenarios. And again, I'm at the point right now where the only bullish one I had was diverted from on Friday and confirmed that diversion today. I will do some chart digging tonight, see if I can come up with another one. And like I said, if we divert tomorrow to the upside, I will be looking intently into tomorrow's micro movements to see, well, we'll get it. If we divert and head in a definitive macro or mid, let's just call it a macro direction to the upside and divert from a downside move on the macro, I will have a snake that will indicate upside to go ahead and put on there probably halfway through. That will give me some sort of insight as to what's going to be happening. That seems to be how it's playing out with the extensions. That is AMC in a nutshell and where we're at right now within macro to macro and the potential snake algo scenario. Here is SPY. Let's take a look at SPY. SPY finished the day down 0.33%. It's currently up in after hours 0.03%. Again, this is the 2007, or I'm sorry, it is 2007, but it's the 08-09 SPY overlay from the correction and then the crash back in 08-09. Here is the dead cat bounce area where we are at on the 1 hour. Within that, this fractal and this overlay have given, just this piece of it, have given pretty much spot on projections as far as the movement or the path for the movement since October of last year, a little bit into September, but nonetheless, October of last year until right now, today, it's still giving that. I talked about yesterday, I put the 442 support in here and said that would be a level of resistance if we made it back up to it. It would be a level of support that we would want to regain if we were going to try to make a move back up into here. I also noted in yesterday's video the movement right here that this was indicating that we may have. Essentially, that's what we got here. Right, we're at a lower level, which is fine. I showed you that back at the beginning of this overlay. I'll show you again here real quick. I'm just gonna keep moving, but I'll show you real quick. Where you can see replicated movements, but at different price levels, like this. Right, you have it here, here, and here. Obviously, all of this up into here. W, right? Same thing here potentially, right? I looked at that. Again, it's not a candle for candle granular comparative like that, but you can see what it's indicating and you can see what we got, right? Back up in and then back down. Back up in and then back down. Then back up in, which looks like maybe in here, maybe even here. So that's what I'm looking at for it. And its placement currently, and potentially where that placement may be moving forward tomorrow and through the rest of this week. Obviously, this is indicating, again, from a generalized perspective of the macro movements, a heavy downside continuation. If not, and it's going to get a bullish move, again, the 442 is the first level. I would want to see it retake and give me confirmation, continuation to the upside. After that, 448, I believe, would be our next level of resistance that we would encounter on the way back up. If it does that, we will be looking at repositioning, or we would ever try to invalidate something that has given spot-on projections for at least this amount of time, if not more, back before where I clipped it off at. So that's where we're at with SPY and with the 0809 overlay, the positioning, the indication and implication of future movement tomorrow and beyond, as well as AMC's macro to macro comparative, AMC's potential current snake algo. Thank you all if you made it to the end of the video. Appreciate the continued support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be live stream again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. right here, same time, same place, from market open to market close, starting at 9 a.m. And I will either see you all in that live stream, and I better, or I'll see you in tomorrow night's update and preparation video after market close. Have a good evening, enjoy yourselves, and I will talk to you all manana. Later.